You walk into a physics exam feeling prepared, and within minutes, everything feels harder than expected. That's not nerves, that's exposure. I'm the physics sensei, PhD in physics, black belt in karate, and 30 years teaching college students just like you. My job is to show you what physics exams are actually testing and how to train for them. Today, I'm going to show you why exams feel unpredictable and what they're really revealing. Now, if nothing changes, exams keep feeling random. You study, you hope, and you get surprised anyways. That's not because physics is unfair. It's because your training never matched the test. Physics exams don't test calm. They test structure under pressure. So in this video, we're going to break down 5 reasons exams expose students so brutally. What most students call panic is actually a technical failure that starts immediately. Here's what's actually happening. Panic is not emotional, it's technical. Your brain panics when it doesn't recognize a clear starting move. No starting move means no structure, and no structure means uncertainty, and uncertainty triggers panic. Most students think panic comes from pressure, but it doesn't. It comes from standing in front of a problem without the trained first action. If the first step isn't automatic, everything feels urgent. Your brain starts scanning, guessing, jumping. That chaos feels like panic. This is why panic shows up on exams, but not during homework. Homework gives you hints, examples, and known path. Exams remove the path. If you never train starting from nothing, panic fills the gap. Strong students don't eliminate nerves, they eliminate uncertainty. They train one thing relentlessly, the first move. They know how to start even when the problem looks unfamiliar. That creates calm. Calm is not confidence, calm is clarity, and clarity comes from knowing what to do first. If you panic on exams, stop trying to relax. Train your starting move. Once the first step is clear, the rest slows down. Panic fades when structure appears. That's not psychology, that's training. Here's how you train this. Before starting any physics problem, write these at the top. First step, and then fill it in before doing anything else. Then do this. Practice this drill once per study session. Open a problem, write the first step, and then stop. Do not solve the problem yet. Then challenge yourself. For 1 week, train only starts. Do 5 problems per day, but only write the first step for each. No solving allowed. That's how panic turns into structure. Exams punish hesitation at the very first decision point. Here's what's actually happening. When you read the first line, your brain tries to solve immediately. You scan for numbers, you hunt for formulas, you ask, which equation is this? That's the mistake. Physics problems don't start with equations, they start with situations. And when you skip that step, your brain stalls. That freeze is not confusion, it's a missing structure. Your brain is waiting for one thing you never give it. What is happening here physically? Until that question is answered, nothing else works. So the system locks up. Homework feels easier because you just saw a similar problem. You know which chapter you're in, and you expect the formula. On exams, all of that disappears. Now, we have to decide what kind of situation is this? What system am I modeling? What matters and what doesn't? If you never train that skill, the exam exposes it immediately. That's why the freeze happens on the first line. The first line of a physics problem is not information, it's a description of reality. If you treat it like a formula trigger, you stall. If you treat it like a situation to interpret, you move forward. That difference decides everything. Strong students pause. They don't rush to solve. They ask, what is happening here in this particular problem? What objects are involved in this situation? What is changing here? So I need to understand what's happening. They build the picture first, and the questions comes after that. If you freeze on the first line, stop blaming pressure, stop blaming the math. You're not failing physics, you're just skipping the setup. So fix how you begin, and the rest of the problem starts to cooperate. An exam is not a verdict, it's data about your training. Here's what's actually happening: an exam is the most honest feedback you ever get. It shows you exactly how you perform when nothing is guided. But most students never use it. They see the score, they feel relief or frustration, and they stop there. That turns the exam into a judgment, not a tool. A judgment doesn't improve performance. Every exam contains a full map of your weaknesses, not vague ones, specific ones, where you rush, where you guessed, where you set up fail, where your decisions broke down. That information is priceless. Studying during the semester is scattered. Different topics, different problems, different goals. An exam concentrates everything. It shows what actually failed under pressure. That is why one exam reviewed properly can change how you study for the rest of the semester. It tells you what skill didn't hold, what habit collapsed, what you need to retrain. Strong students don't fear exams, they mind them. They reopen the test. They trace each mistake back to a decision. They fix that decision at the source. They don't just study more, they study smarter. If you ignore exams, you repeat the same semester again and again. Different chapters, same mistakes. If you want real improvement, stop treating exams like verdicts. Treat them like performance data. That's how one exam can teach you more than weeks of unfocused studying. Here's how you train this. Take it easy first. Pick one exam question you missed. Write down the first wrong step you took, just one. Then go for the next level. Rewrite that same problem and fix only the first wrong step. And stop there. Do not finish the problem. Then challenge yourself. Create an exam error list. Every mistake goes on it with one sentence. I lost points because I. Then you complete that. Study this list weekly. That's how exams become training tools. What students do after the exam often guarantees the same mistakes repeat. Here's what actually happening. Most students treat a bad grade as an ending, something to recover from, something to forget. But in physics, a bad exam is not the end, it's data. And when you ignore the data, the same mistakes come back. After a bad result, students usually do one or two things. They blame themselves or they blame the test. Neither fixes anything. Blame shuts down analysis. The real mistake is emotional processing without technical review. You feel bad, you accept it, and then you keep studying the same way. That guarantees the outcome repeats. Physics exams don't measure effort, they expose decisions. Every wrong answer points to a specific breakdown: a setup error, a misassumption, a rash choice. Those are correctable, but only if you look. Strong students do something uncomfortable. They reopen the exam. They isolate each mistake. Then they ask, what decision failed here? They don't defend themselves. They don't just rush past it. They extract the lesson. One exam reviewed properly can improve your next five. One exam ignored teaches you nothing. If you want physics to improve, stop treating bad grades like injuries. Treat them like training feedback. That's where progress hides. The grade already happened. The value is in what is revealed. Miss that, and the same exam shows up again. So here's how you train this. Take it easy. After you get a quiz or exam back, pick one wrong problem and write this sentence. I lost points because and then fill in one concrete mistake. Example, I did not label the forces. Take that same problem and redo only the setup on a blank page. No math, just solving the diagram, the system, and the nodes. Then challenge yourself. For your next exam review, do this rule. You're not allowed to count points, only count type of mistakes. Make a short list. That list becomes your study plan. That's how bad grades turn into progress. When training is inconsistent, exams expose it immediately. Here's what's actually happening. Consistency fails because students treat studying like a mood, not a system. When studying depends on how you feel, how busy you are, or how confident you feel that day, it collapses. Physics doesn't reward bursts of effort. It rewards repeated exposure, short reps, frequent reps, predictable reps. That's how skills stabilize. Most students aim too big. Long session, perfect focus, huge block of time. When that plan breaks once, everything stops. Consistency doesn't fail because the student is weak. It fails because the system is fragile. Strong students design boarding systems. Same time, same place, same small task. They don't negotiate with motivation. They remove the decision entirely. This is why consistency feels harder than it looks. It's not exciting, it's not dramatic, and it doesn't feel productive right away, but it compounds quietly. If your progress keeps resetting, stop restarting with enthusiasm. Lower the bar, shrink the session, protect the routine. Consistency survives when the system is simple enough to run on bad days. Physics doesn't require heroic effort, it requires steady training. Build something you can repeat even when life is messy. Here's how you train this. Take it easy first. Choose a fixed 10-minute time you can study physics every day. Same time, no exceptions. Then go for the next level. Create a simple rule, one problem per day. Even if that's all you do, the session counts. Then challenge yourself. For 2 weeks, track one thing only. Did you show up? Not how long, not how well, just yes or no. That's how consistency becomes automatic. Exams don't create mistakes, they reveal misinstruction. So let's recap. What exams actually test? One, first step decisions. Two, structure under pressure. Three, execution, not memory. Four, post exam corrections. And five, consistency over time. Exams don't require calm confidence, they require trained structure. Train the basics, build your foundation, and let consistency become your advantage. And if you need more help, the dojo is ready when you are. I'll see you inside.